Well, first of all, what kind of mythical powers does a Sun Devil have? We got to consider that.
You all don't remember the Georgia Southern game, do you?
You know, I hope there's Bigfoot. I don't think there is.
Like rat poison. All right, so
It's Division One football! It ain't intramurals!
That is right. It is Division One football. This is the Hoppy Huddle podcast. Welcome back. My name's Jake. That's Ed. Today we are previewing part 2 of the Big Ten Conference. We should call it the Big 10 Hours because that's how long it's taken us to go over and create profiles for all these teams. Golly day, what a big conference. But man, college football keeps just inching closer week after week. And we're going to talk about some really exciting teams today. Some flashy teams, some teams I have very high hopes for going into this year. And man, I am excited.
Yeah. This conference is huge. And this is the Conference of Champions. And I think we're going to talk about a team today. We're going to talk about at least one team today I think can win a championship. We're going to talk about another couple teams that can make playoff runs. And then we're going to talk about some teams that, well, maybe looking ahead already to 27. So
speaking of the Conference of Champions, the Pac-12 team's been pretty successful so far. I would say at least some of them in the Pac-12.
Yes,
I mean in the Big Ten, which subsumed some of the Pac-12. We're going to talk about some of those teams today. We're also going to talk about some of the other Big Ten teams. Nothing really huge in the news department for college football that I could see. Do you have any updates?
There's camp battles going on.
Oh no, quarterback battles, battles.
No. I mean, I scanned the headlines in the last hour. Nothing really made. Well, South Carolina took a hit today to I think both their wide receivers. And we'll get to them. We get to the SEC.
Nick Harbor? Is he out?
What?
Is he out?
No, I don't have my notes here.
Gibson. I saw Gibson got injured.
It was
right?
Gibson and another one. I think South Carolina, they're already in trouble. But that was not good news coming out of South Carolina today. But nothing else. I mean, I saw some uniform color combinations issued today, for games.
Oh boy,
stuff like
teams
that.
dropping their uniforms. They all look really cool, except for Texas A&M's camo ones.
Yeah.
What was that nonsense?
Yeah, that was garbage.
Well, I have to say, I love Tulane's Mardi Gras uniforms. Those are amazing.
And the blue on blue combo Florida said is going to be in the Oklahoma game. Oh, that's going to be just
Haven't they
insane.
never done all blue before?
I don't know. No, this is all new.
Yeah,
so
it should be
looking forward to seeing that.
So we're getting uniform combinations. So if you stick with me, you'll dive in. Well, let's crack open the Big 12 conference. I mean the Big 10 conference. God, yeah, I keep messing. The conferences keep switching so much, it's hard to keep them straight.
Yes.
But that's what we're here for. You can tune in to us. I got my Hoppy Huddle mug. And we're going to dive into college football. So let's start with what is maybe, in my opinion, one of the best teams in college football, the ultimate Nike school, and that is the Oregon Ducks. And go ahead. You go first.
Well, I mean, there's a lot to say about this team. They won the Big Ten 2 years ago. Last year, the only team they lost to was Indiana, and they lost to them twice, regular season and the playoffs. They won 2 playoff games last year. They, the offense, Dante Moore did not go to the NFL. He came back. He returns as a Heisman favorite this year.
Dude.
That's a big deal. They get Evan Stewart back after missing last year to go with DeCorian Moore. I mean, that's just a lethal combination out there for him to throw the ball to. They already have 5-star wide receivers behind those guys. Running back room, I think, is the only one that's a little complicated. But they always seem to find somebody to step up.
I mean, they got Jordan Davidson, right? He's their lead.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, they've got some younger talent on the offensive line, but it's not even the offense as good as some of those players are. The defense is just down and outright scary.
Oh,
my
gosh.
The entire defensive line returns. And last year, let me just tell you,
all 4 of them were going to the NFL.
Yeah, passing defense, they were 4th in the country last year. I mean, explode. I mean, they were a top 10 defense last year, and they're all coming back. They all came back. And then the secondary, They're all 5 stars. They're, you got, Offord is there. Scott. Then you've got
Coy
Flowers
Parrish.
as a return.
Coy Parrish is came from Minnesota as one of the top transfers in the entire country. Elite
Yeah.
NFL safety.
I mean, so there is not a weakness that you're talking about. I mean, we think about Moore and Stewart and that offense. This defense, teams aren't going to score on Oregon.
Yep. And everything you just said is why I have Oregon as my number 1 team in the country. And we'll get to, we haven't got pick playoff yet, but I have them at number 1 in the Big Ten, number 1 overall. I think Mateo Uiagalelei on the edge. You got Bear Alexander up front, Murray Washington at tackle. These guys on defense, all 4 of them. Tatum Tutoi is also, amazing. Like I said, Coy Parrish, Aaron Flowers, like Brandon Finney. Like, these guys are insane. Not to mention, everybody knows about Dante Moore would have been obvious first-round NFL guy. He passed on the draft to come back and try and win one. Evan Stewart, amazing. DeCorian Moore, if he stays healthy, they're going to have maybe the second best wide receiver room in the country. And Jeremiah McClellan apparently has been fantastic as well.
Yeah.
The redshirt sophomore. So the only
he's a freshman, isn't he?
Jeremiah McClellan?
No, he was a freshman. He was a
freshman last year, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I could be wrong, but the only questions in quote are the offensive line, but they've got a ton of older guys there. So I have them. I'm so high, unbelievably high on Oregon. Yeah, they are my team.
So if Kirby was coaching this team, or if Signetti was coaching this team, they would be the undisputed preseason number 1 ranked team. But we have this. But Dan Lanning is coaching this team.
I love Dan Lanning. I'm so high on Dan Lanning.
Well, yes,
he's a killer.
But Dan has this issue with sometimes getting in his own way, kind of like Dan Campbell does in the Detroit Lions.
I don't know, man. I think you're applying the just because he hasn't doesn't mean he can't. Yeah, you're going against that
Josh
principle.
Pate of you.
It is very Josh Pate. I'm quoting Josh Pate right at you because Dan Lanning is like that guy as a college football coach. Yes, some of these tacky situations, maybe he gets a little ticky-tacky, but he's also been extremely prepared for some of these situations. And I really can't blame him. I can't blame him for losing to one of the best teams, in the last 10 years of Indiana last year. Number 1 overall, Heisman pick. That's the only team, you can't really blame him for that.
And you have to look at them. The only teams they've lost to the last 2 years have been the national champions.
Yep. And so
I think, I think this is going to work out, but that's my only hesitation with them.
So if you look at their schedule, I have them going 12-0. I think they're winning every single game. I think they beat Boise State. That's the toughest group of 5 team you can draw, but it won't be a challenge for Oregon. Oklahoma State we think will be better also. Not going to be a challenge. Portland State they'll kill. USC has an explosive offense, but I've yet to see it from a Lincoln Riley defense. Gary Patterson's been out of coaching a while. He hasn't been a defensive coordinator in 20 years. It was his defense at TCU, but the last couple of years of his run at TCU, the defense was lacking. I think some of these other teams, Nebraska, UCLA, Illinois, Northwestern, they're going to run through them. Ohio State on the road is really the only game that I think they could have trouble with. I see them blowing everybody else out on the way to an undefeated season. I think they're, should be the national title favorite if I were making the odds.
Yeah, I guess I'm going 12-0. I have maybe 11-1. Maybe they'll lost either to USC or Ohio State. I don't think you can discount road games sometimes. I think teams, they are college kids still. Sometimes they don't show up for road games. And those are the only possible 2 losses.
These guys should be NFL kids.
Yeah, a few guys should be. But this is clearly, if this team finishes 10-2, it's a disappointment, huge disappointment if they finish 10-2.
Yeah, I think it does. I think the regular season, I think it's national title or bust for Oregon. If they don't win the national title, it's a disappointment.
I think it's last year, what did they win? They won 2 games in the playoffs. If you count the JMU game, which I guess we have to count. So, yeah, you're pretty much in a championship or bust.
They've won the Big Ten. They've won playoff games. It's natty or bust for Oregon.
Yeah, you're almost like Texas. You're really at Texas level where it's national championship or bust. No, playoff wins are not good enough anymore.
No, they are not.
So, but this will be an exciting team to watch. Tons of talent, and they are certainly should be considered for the national title. So,
Yep, I'm with you there.
all right.
All right, let us move on to the USC Trojans. Lincoln Riley reloading this year. Great recruiting class they brought in. Lots of defensive players. They bring in Gary Patterson to overhaul this defense. I just mentioned. They've got, guys. Jaden Maeva returns as quarterback. He had a pretty strong 2025 year. They lose Mekhi Lemon out wide, but they do have other guys. King Miller at running back, Wayman Jordan. Mark Bowman is expected to be an instant impact freshman at tight end. So I'm curious, what are your kind of projection with USC this year?
Yeah, I think this is the breakthrough year for USC. I think they've been building towards this with the talent accumulation. Mekhi Lemon, not Mekhi Lemon, Jaden Maeva, he is the best quarterback. I'm going to pull up the stats here. I saved this yesterday. I was going to just text you just to annoy you yesterday.
Were you?
He is the number 1 quarterback in returning QBR in the country, over Sang, over Chandless, over Carr, over Stockton, over all those other guys. And I know that's just a QBR stat, but I think you're getting – we don't talk enough about him. We talk Arch Manning. We talk about all those others. I think this is the best returning quarterback, and he's in a system that he knows well. Lincoln, he's going to have the full array of everything Lincoln's going to give him. There's not going to have a problem scoring points. Now, I do agree that it's the defense that's been weak. It's been an improving defense. Mm-hmm. They bring in Gary Patterson. We'll see. Does he run that unique matchup zone that he did at TCU?
That still works?
I don't know. I don't know how they do. I think there's a lot of talent on this defense. But I think they get over the hump. I look at the schedule, and I think they're going to have to win a big game or two. I mean, it's just the bottom line. But the schedule's favorable. I mean, you look at it. They get Oregon at home. They get Washington at home. They go to Penn State, but this isn't a Penn State team that's not unbeatable. They get Ohio State at home. They get Indiana. They have to go on the road. But if you're going to get over the hump, this is the kind of schedule that gets you over the hump, where you get most of the tough games at home, and that means you got to win one of those or two of those.
But they draw the big 3.
They do, and I expect them to win one of those. Is actually what I'm thinking.
Really? I don't know.
I think they get Oregon or Ohio State or Indiana. They're going to get one of those. They're that good, and I think
could see them get one of them.
Again,
maybe.
we see upsets. We see, Alabama, Georgia would lose a game during the year.
This is true.
These teams are not going to be perfect. They're all Oregon, Indiana, and Ohio State are all not going 12-0.
No, I agree.
And I think USC is good enough to be that 4th team in the Big Ten, and talent-wise, to maybe lose 2 of those 3, beat one of them, and then beat the rest of their schedule.
10
and
and
I
2,
think that's very possible.
At large playoff, you think, at 10-2?
At 10-2, the 4th place team in the Big Ten, that gets them in the playoff.
I think that's contingent on the team that they beat being in the playoff ahead of them, right? Like being in the Big Ten championship, probably.
Let's be realistic, and we're going to do our playoff show. I mean, do you really think Oregon, Indiana? I mean, short of the wheels falling off, do you really think Oregon, Indiana, and Ohio State are not going to be in the playoff?
No, I don't think that they will not be.
So step 2, I think USC gets one of those, and they finish 10-2. They're going to be the 4th team. There's going to be 4 Big Ten teams.
Yeah, my concern is just Lincoln Riley. I just feel like they're going to lose one of these dumb games, like at Penn State.
Well, and if they do, then they're going to go 9-3.
Like, I think that's a tricky game for them. That's all the way across the country. It's a hostile environment. Penn State, runs a very
Penn
counter
State's
style.
not as talented. They're not as talented.
They're not, but they run a counter style to what USC is going to be running. You drag them into the mud, that could be a challenge. Same with Washington. It's not easy.
I understand, but I'm not a fan of Rocco Beck either. We'll get to Penn State later.
Oh boy.
But I think having that kind of talent at quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks.
No one's
in the country
denying Jade Maeva's talent. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
I doubted him going into last year, but I don't doubt him any longer. He's not the question there.
I think this team sneaks in with probably one of the last at-large playoff spots, is my guess.
I could see it. I'm not entirely opposed to it, but
yeah,
I think I think you are right in your analysis that this is the year for Lincoln. Like they have to break through this year.
And I think the schedule sets up for them to do it this year.
Yeah,
is the break. Yes, you got to go to Indiana, but you get Oregon, Ohio State coming to California, and don't discount that trip to California. That's coming West Coast. Not Oregon, but Ohio State. That just doesn't play well sometimes. Teams just don't always bring their A game.
Yeah, and I will say they will be pretty strong along the D line on defense.
Yeah.
It's just, can it gel together? Can the scheme work? And then can those pieces in the secondary fill in? I could see, peak scenario where USC, ceiling, everything clicks. They're competing with those three for the Big Ten championship. I don't think that's super likely, but I could see your scenarios very easily where they're that fourth team.
Yeah. This conference deserves 4. They're a better conference at the top than the SEC, and they deserve 4 playoff spots.
Okay.
All right.
It all depends on. It's situational. It's situational. Let's be clear.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Now we're gonna go. Now let's transition to the team that is the most overrated going into the preseason.
Oh boy.
Deserves none of the love they're getting, and is going to fall miserably on their face.
Dude, when are you a Matt Campbell hater?
At least a 9-3. I don't think they're going to go fall that far because their schedule is easier than Virginia's this year. And that's the Penn State.
All right, take it away. Since when are you a Matt Campbell hater, bro?
I'm not a Matt Campbell hater. And truthfully, Matt ought to be doing the dance because somebody gifted him, said, here's your schedule this year, new coach. And he's like, oh, thank you, because it is Cupcake City, baby, as Dick Vitale used to say. Oh my gosh, Marshall, Temple, Buffalo, Wisconsin, Northwestern. Can you start any easier? Can you start it? He starts out 5-0 without even blinking. Then they finish the season up with Minnesota, Rutgers, and Maryland. This schedule is set up. Now, well, first let's talk about the talent. Let's forget the schedule for a second. Matt Campbell's the new head coach there. This team imploded last year. They lost to Northwestern, UCLA. They lost a ton of games that they shouldn't have probably. They recruit at a higher level than that. Matt Campbell takes a job after nobody seemed to want the job for a month. So, this is a program that traditionally has always held it to a certain standard. But I'm a little concerned that Matt Campbell brought a lot of kids from Iowa State who just can't compete in the Big 10. They were cute in the Big 12, but I just don't think they're Big 10 worthy. One of them was Rocco Beck. Now let's talk about Rocco Beck for a second.
Oh gosh, why are you a Rocco Beck hater? He's a good quarterback.
He was at the bottom of the Big 12 last year in statistics.
He was injured.
Whatever. People play through injuries. And now he's supposed to be one of the lead Penn State to the top of the Big 10. That doesn't math. That math don't math.
I don't agree with that. But
that math doesn't work. You better have a backup quarterback ready. If you're depending on Rocco Beck to get you this preseason, the AP poll came out today. They were like 16th. Give me a freaking break. Rocco Beck is not going to take you to 16th against the Big 10. I'm telling you what right now. That is flat out fabrication.
I think that's pretty fair. 16. I think they finished the season ranked 16.
Probably because they don't play anybody.
Yeah.
You and me and your brothers could probably go 6-6 against this schedule. They have a little bit of running back depth. I think between Hanson, Peoples. They got some decent running backs. But they supplemented the roster with Iowa State players. I don't think that's going to work. I think 9-3 is a ceiling. 8-4 is a possibility. I think Campbell's going to get this program right long term. I don't think he's a bad coach. I think he's a good fit there. I think he'll recruit well. I just don't believe in this year's team, and I don't believe in Rocco Beck.
So you're negative,
I'm done.
and I'm positive, and we both have him at 9-3.
Well, yeah, it's because the schedule's so easy.
Okay.
I mean, they're going to lose to USC, they're going to lose to Michigan, and they're going to lose at Washington.
They could beat Washington.
Yeah.
0-12
is in the cards. Yeah. Somebody in the chat has 0-12.
0-12. Preach, come on.
They only played 3 tough games, and I think they're going 0-3 in those games.
Yeah, I could see them winning. I don't know if Michigan doesn't click and if Washington, they get Washington. I could see them winning too.
But everybody else in their schedule, I mean, it really is. It's cupcake. It's a cupcake schedule, and I don't know what they did to get this.
Look,
I trust Matt Campbell to get that.
I trust Matt Campbell to get that defense sorted out. Okay, they got good, decent guys along the D line. Kamanju, Max Granville, Tony Rojas. They got some guys. So it's not completely ridiculous that they get that defense sorted out.
Do you know what the chat's referring to?
What scandal? What did I miss?
Well, I don't know if there's any football players involved in the scandal, but there was a fraternity today that got busted up by. I guess the fraternity was the brothers and even the pledges were involved in a major cocaine dealing distribution ring, or allegedly, of course. I don't know if there are any football players in that. So.
Yeah, I doubt that. I think they get tested like every other week, so probably not.
You don't play Oregon, you don't play Ohio State, and you don't play Indiana. I mean, how in the world do you avoid all 3 of them?
You are correct. This is an unbelievably easy schedule. So
it's, I mean, and I'll tell you right now, they go 10-2. Frat brothers making pledges sell snow. Isn't that crazy? Jake, this 10-2 Penn State team doesn't make the playoff over a 9-3 SEC team. I'm gonna tell you right now, and I'll go to the mat for that one.
I think this 10-2 Penn State team with this schedule does not make the playoff. I will also say a 9-3 SEC team is not making the playoff. But that's another point.
We're gonna have this debate. This could happen.
3-loss team not making playoff. Oh. I'm sitting in this chair, and the chair says 3-loss teams aren't making the playoff, and I'm not moving from this chair.
Okay. We'll revisit this in November. We're going to have a very feisty argument come November. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're going to. And guess who's going to be right? Because every playoff release is fake except the last one, which we saw last year. They're all fake except the final one. Everyone knows this, okay?
All right. So you've got them at 9-3. I've got them probably 9-3 just because they could find 9 wins easily.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Agree there. Okay. You agree with Ed? No, bad decision. Don't agree with Ed.
It's not a bad decision. Now, there is one 9-3 team that I'm projecting 9-3 that I think is actually a real team.
Yeah, who's that?
That's the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Iowa is always a real 9-3 team because that's what they're going to be every year. They're going to be 9-3, ranked 22, and they're going to have a nice bowl win against Florida State, 6-6 Florida State team.
Now they're not going to beat Florida State this year. I mean, they're not going to play Florida State.
Okay, they have a nice bowl win against Duke.
So again, same issue we always have with Iowa. I mean, the offense is just kind of the passing offense, in particular.
Hey, they were better last year. Okay, they were middle of the road on the passing last year.
I don't know what stats. So I guess who's going? Is it going to be Hank Brown? Or is it who's going to be the quarterback there?
Hecklinski, but
Helinski? Is it Helinski's going to get the job?
Hecklinski?
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it, bro. Jeremy. I think it's going to be Jeremy, but
Jeremy Helinski. Yeah,
it's currently an open competition. I think.
Yeah, I think so. The defense, there's a little bit of rebuilding on the defense, but I think
I trust Phil Parker in that defense any year.
Yeah, but They got 7 Big Ten, all Big Ten players are gone from last year. 11 of their top 14 tacklers are gone. But I think they rebuild pretty well in this end. You got to trust what they do in that end. We trust Ferentz, you trust Parker. I don't really worry about them so much. I think they're very steady there, even though they just don't return anybody. I don't like the complete turnover. I just think they're so solid defensively every year. And then you look at the schedule again. I see a 9-3 again. They play Ohio State, they play Michigan, they don't play Indiana, they don't play Oregon. I mean, so looking at they get all the Midland teams.
Yeah, I think they lose to Ohio State and Michigan, and probably one other team I threw in Washington, but I could see it being Nebraska or Illinois also. Give me 9-3 Iowa, and see you at the Quick Lane Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like this team's always going to be 8-4, 9-3, given what they do in defense. If they actually could generate offense, they probably could be scary.
Now, I do think there is some hope for the offense. Tony Diaz, Reese Vanderzee, actually decent wide receivers, not MAC receivers, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Got the Hoppy Huddle mug? Yes.
Yes.
So I think there's a scenario where Iowa, one of these quarterbacks clicks, Iowa actually ends up being able to throw the ball, along with their, solid, dependable running game and O-line play. If that happens, I mean, they could pair that defense and get up to a 10-win season. If they do win 10 games, I think they're right there in the playoff conversation with 10 wins, because they would have a key win over, one of those Michigan or Oregon, or Ohio State or Washington, and have good wins over some of those mid-tier Big Ten teams.
Perhaps.
You're right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to insult Iowa. They'll have a good bowl.
The Quick Lane's usually a MAC bowl. I mean,
they'll go to, I don't know.
They always go to the bowl, like the Citrus Bowl on January.
The Music
1st.
City Bowl, the Citrus Bowl. They'll go to something.
Yeah. They're always playing on January 1st because they all need to leave the weather in Iowa and get to the Florida.
Yeah, fair.
It's
Citrus
usually,
Bowl. Citrus Bowl.
One of those bowls. So.
Anyway.
All right. So the next team that I think we've got to talk about, I'm really intrigued by this year, and I don't know how to really figure them out, and that's the UCLA Bruins.
I'm also very interested in UCLA. I love the hire of Bob Chesney. That guy is going to kill it at UCLA. Also, I love what they've been doing behind the scenes. It really seems like they've actually decided, hey, we're going to be a real football program and invest real money, and do some of the things that other teams that are stuck in the big mire of the Big Ten are not doing behind the scenes to align the program. It seems like they finally have, what do we always say? Alignment.
Yes.
They finally have alignment at UCLA. Bob Chesney comes in. Nico Iamaleava had some moments last year, I have to say. There were a lot of games where he was just okay. There were a couple games where he really went off and, he showed the star moment potential last year. I like where UCLA is going as a program. I like Wayne Knight, the JMU transfer running back. He's fantastic. I think who's the edge that they have there? West, Sajir West or something. He's fantastic as well.
Yeah.
And so I think they'll have a good defense up front. I think they'll have a good running game. And if Nico can make those flashy moments more consistent, they could really be, competitive in the middle of the conference here. But I don't think it's this year. All that positivity to say I don't actually think it's this year. I think I probably have them around 8 wins, which is a big jump. That's a big
Holy
improvement.
cow! 8 wins?
Maybe 7 wins, something along those lines. 7, 8 wins. I'm pretty positive on them. But part of it is they play some of the bottom tier of the Big Ten. So
They're like a stock that's cheap right now. I'd like to buy it, but I really don't know that it's going to do much for me in the short term.
okay, so I have my thing. I have them at 7 wins, but I could see them jumping and getting up to 8. So if you look at their schedule here, you start with Cal, which based on how high I am on Cal, I don't know. I see that as kind of a toss up. because I am high on Cal, but Cal's in the ACC, so it's a little different. I think they beat Purdue. I have Maryland as also a toss-up, although I could see them easily beating Maryland. Maryland tends to start the season strong under Oxley, though, so I've given it to the Terps. Lost to Oregon. I think they beat Wisconsin, Michigan State, and Nevada, and Minnesota. Get on a nice winning streak there, and then lose the final three with a record of 7-5. And you can flip the Maryland game, or if you want to go up to 8 wins. But I have more confidence in Chesney than Wisconsin, Michigan State, Purdue, San Diego, some of these other programs that they're going to be playing.
Well, my only concern with this is he brought a lot of, group of 6 guys.
And that never works out for JMU head coaches. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Maybe it'll work out again. I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe that does work again. Who knows? But the other thing is, let's be realistic. We've seen Nico before. We know what we get with Nico. He's not going to make Nico into Jaden Maeva. He's not. They're not. Nico has a ceiling, and we know what it is. And so, even as good a coach as Chesney is, and I do agree with you, I think Chesney's a good coach. I think they've got the alignment now. I think there's opportunities for this program to be better. I just don't think it's this year. I think they'll fight hard. I think the Fighting Bob Chesneys will be good this year, and they'll be spirited in games. I just don't think they're going to be able to convert to a lot of wins. I'm thinking more of like 6-6 is kind of their record. Maybe they give some teams a little scares, but I just don't know that you're going to convert that to an 8-4 kind of record. That's a big leap in this conference against teams that are well settled, and especially when you look at how they recruited. I mean, they brought a good portal class in, but the high school recruiting for the last few years has been pretty weak.
Yeah, but they are picking that up, by the way.
They are.
In the last class, the 27 class is looking really solid.
They are, and I think Chesney's. Can we talk about his hair first? Can we talk about Bob Chesney's hair? I'd like to have hair like that. That's good. He's got good hair.
Yeah, with $8K in hair surgery, you can't do.
Yeah, it's good. It's good hair. Anyway, all right, let's move on.
For sure.
All right.
Let us talk about Minnesota.
So before we talk about the team specifics, are they just happy to be 7-5, 8-4 every year?
They're rowing the boat. They're happy.
Yeah, they're rowing the boat. I mean, are they just Big Ten Kentucky?
They are Big Ten Kentucky, except I think Kentucky got a little too big for their britches and started thinking, hey, we should hire the Oregon offensive coordinator.
I mean, what is this program? Do they actually care enough to be? Because we give Nebraska a hard time for not getting over the hump, and USC, and some of these schools, but they at least they care or pretend to care. I mean, does Minnesota really care? Does Minnesota want to be in that elite status?
I don't think they do, and I don't think it's possible, and they don't have the same expectations either. We talk about Nebraska, they want to win national championships. USC wants to win national championships. UCLA, you could say, wants to win, compete at a higher level, right? Nobody at Minnesota is like, oh, yeah, we want to win national championships. They're like, we want to beat Wisconsin. We want to be competitive. We want to give our fans a good football team, and we want to, put together a good program. And PJ Fleck does that, and he does that every year. He's been there. How many years has he been there now?
This is his 10th year now.
10th. I was about to say, is it 9 or 10 years?
Yeah, this will be his 10th year.
Yeah, so I think, I don't have them great this season. I think this may be sort of a down year for Minnesota. Danny Collins as their defensive coordinator has been pretty good.
Well,
I do like Drake Lindsey.
Drake Lindsey's back. I mean, you have a competent quarterback. I mean, I think that's a positive for them. You've got, the Taylor running back's healthy. I mean, he's good. I mean, so there's some things there. I think they just don't put their offense just isn't very explosive. That's the problem.
Yeah, their offense has really been not explosive for a long time. They've always been one of those teams that runs the ball an insane amount. They kind of play almost a service academy, like keep the score low and we'll win in the close margins kind of way. I think you look at the schedule and it looks, like, hey, they got a pretty good draw. But then every time you face them up against one of these teams on their schedule, you're like, I kind of like the other team better. And so I end up somewhere between 6-6 and 5-7.
Well, they draw 6 of the Big Ten's top 9. Their schedule is not favorable this year. So even if the team's decent,
I mean, I guess you're saying like you don't get Oregon and you don't get Ohio State, but
no, but you get everybody else, and so that's
right.
So, and then the question is, how many of those games are you competitive in? You're not going to win all those games. In Minnesota, because you can't score enough points, and that's the problem. I mean, that's why I get back to, UCLA may be able to with Nico.
They got
Some
that
of those
upside.
games. Some of those games they're going to win just because they're going to score points.
Yeah.
And in some of those games, Nico's going to throw an interception and lose games for them. Minnesota just does not put up enough points. I mean, what was their? They were 102nd in the country in scoring offense last year.
Yeah.
Yards per play, they were 122nd. Total offense, they were 129th. I mean, it's just, it's dreadful. It's hard to watch.
They play slow, they play laggy, and even with a good quarterback in Drake Lindsey, they're not explosive.
No, and he's good for their system. He's just,
and I think they brought in Perry Thompson. I think at this point we probably think he's a bust at wide receiver. So I don't know if we really expect a ton from him. Like,
yeah, he was a 5-star at Auburn and just has not
never
worked
really
out,
took
so.
off. Yeah.
We don't expect much from that end. So.
All right. Anyway.
All right. Well, let's go to.
What do you want to go to next?
Let's go to Northwestern.
New stadium.
Is the new stadium going to actually open up?
It is, isn't it? I can't remember if it's to start the season or I think they play one home game.
I think it's October.
It's October, right?
So
but we do get it this year.
Ryan Field will open up.
The new Ryan Field.
$865 million expansion project.
Smaller capacity, basically like a basketball arena in that the seats are like super vertical. So hypothetically, it'll be a pretty, for its size, intimidating environment because the fans will be very, very close to the action and very, very close to the players. And it's been designed with the sound acoustics. So, maybe it'll help them get more of a home field advantage than the open dome that they had before. Nothing major, but.
And you know who the offensive coordinator is?
Oh, it's Chip Kelly, isn't it?
It's Chip Kelly.
That's right.
And he brought quarterback coach is Jerry Neuheisel.
Oh, I forgot about Jerry Neuheisel. The UCLA interim. Yeah, I like it.
And Aiden Childs is the quarterback.
And you lose me.
I was waiting for that. Well, Aiden Childs is one of these guys you just think you're waiting for him. He was in the DJ Lagway class, and you're just like, he was so talented. He was,
like Trace McSorley. You're just like, he'll get there eventually.
So, I mean, can Chip create some magic with Childs? I mean, I could see something like that happening.
I mean, it would surprise me, but I could see it.
Yeah.
I think on defense, it'll be interesting. I like David Braun. I think he's a good head coach, right? Like, I think
we think for Northwestern, yeah.
For what they're doing, he's a decent head coach.
And the defense was solid last year. I mean, their scoring defense, they were the top 25 in the country. They have some returning production. It's the real question is, do they have the players to run Chip's system? That's what I wonder.
I don't know, because what do we know that Chip's system used to be the Oregon fast pace all over the place, but it's really evolved in recent years, and it's kind of become whatever he feels like calling for that team. And I think he's become less tied to a specific system and more just like an overall kind of like scheme guy. And so I'll be interested to see how he like tailors that offense to the personnel they have.
Yeah, the biggest challenge too is they had to replace 4 offensive linemen and the entire defensive line.
Yeah.
And games are won in the line of scrimmage. We all know this. And that's just hard for some schools like Oregon. You're just picking up more. There's more 4 and 5 star prospects that are sitting on the bench. That's not happening at Northwestern, and they're not able to recruit that. So that's really hard to play. And then their schedule is brutal. They did not get a good schedule. I mean, they got to play Indiana. They got to go to Indiana, to Oregon, and to Ohio State.
Yeah, not fun. Not fun.
And then so what did you have them at?
Yeah, I had Northwestern actually at the bottom of the Big Ten. I say all this positive stuff about them. I think this is a rebuilding year. I have them 1-8 in conference, 3-9 overall. I have them losing basically every conference game except I think they beat Rutgers.
Yeah, I have them 2-10.
I see they could beat Michigan State too. Those are the 2 winnable games. But I just don't see a path to a bowl with them, especially Colorado in the non-con.
After we talked all the positives, we then come out and go, they're going to be terrible. So,
well, yeah, it's just you don't want to come out and say like, oh, this team sucks, they're bad. Like, there's positive directions Northwestern could go, building this year.
We have Northwestern fans of this podcast. We gotta talk them up.
Yeah, I mean, we like the Wildcats. Any team that's Wildcats, we can be fans of.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Now we're already kind of in the bottom of the barrel, but a little more, maybe hope is the Purdue Boilermakers with head coach Barry Odom, who we like. Well, we like Barry Odom. I'm big fans of Barry Odom. But I'm not super positive on Purdue going into this year either. I do, Ryan Brown is okay as quarterback. I think got a couple pieces on defense, especially in the secondary, C.J. Madden, Smiley Bradford, But it's just like you look at the roster and you're just like, are these guys beating Big Ten teams? And I just don't see it.
They were among the worst in the country. When you count all of the Division I on offense and defense.
Yeah.
And I like Barry Odom. I thought he was a good coach. I think he did a pretty good turnaround at UNLV.
Did.
But this is just a tough job.
I think he took a paycheck job. I think he took this job to get that paycheck, and it paid him a ton of money. And I just don't think there's really a way to focus in and elevate Purdue in the way that it used to be possible in when they were in that Big Ten West, right? If you had an explosive offense and Wisconsin was down, you could really do some damage if you schemed up the right guys. But the way that the Big Ten is now and the other teams that have elevated, they've added since then, and that annual rivalry, quote unquote, with Notre Dame is certainly not helping your win total. You Wake Forest out of conference, I think they could beat you, and they're the bottom of the ACC. So I have them at 3-9. I think they beat Wisconsin and maybe Maryland, but you're kind of stretching there.
Yeah, I have them 2. I have them 2-10. I'm saying similar situation. I just don't see an upside to this team yet, and then you go into year 3 and you got to get a turnaround, or you can be looking for a new coach.
Yeah, and I think they probably will be. But speaking of new coaches, Sparty, how we doing?
Now this is a program that cares.
They care. This is a team that made the college football playoff in the 4-team era. Now, that's a small club,
Yeah.
How far they've fallen since the Mark D'Antonio days. Nick Sheridan's the OC, which will be pretty interesting, at Michigan State. QB is Milojevic, Alessio,
yeah.
Molo, whatever.
Yeah.
And you've also got Cam Edwards at running back. You've got some transfers they're bringing in on defense. I like Pat Fitzgerald. He really did a lot at Northwestern, especially for how limited they were in the pre-NIL era. It really maximized, that Northwestern program. And, Michigan State has more resources than Northwestern. So you're kind of wondering, like, can he get it together? Can he elevate that program from the absolute bottom of the barrel to maybe the middle of the Big Ten, which is kind of probably where they're shooting for right now, and until they can get, they've got investment, they've got money that they're spending, right? They've got a couple billionaires that boost that program. I just don't see it in year one. I think they could build a program long-term pretty well at Michigan State, and I think Pat Fitzgerald, he did his coach redemption tour, but yeah, what do you think of Sparty?
Yeah, this is a complete rebuild. I don't know what to expect from anybody on this roster with offensive line, we just don't know. I don't know what to expect from
I have
Nick
no idea
Sheridan.
what to think on the lines of scrimmage.
There's a lot of unknowns. I'm going to give year one, we're going to give Fitzgerald the benefit of the doubt. He was always got the most out of his players at Northwestern. Let's see what he does. I think they're building towards 27 and 28. I think they're still going to be more competitive than Purdue and Northwestern. I think they'll find a way to get to maybe 3 or 4 wins. Their schedule's a little bit better, although they do play Notre Dame. I wouldn't be shocked to see them eke out 3 wins, maybe 4.
Don't overlook Toledo in week 1, by the way, either. Toledo's not the worst MAC team.
No, Toledo is a good MAC team. And if they're not ready week 1, I think by the end of the season, Michigan State will be much better than Toledo.
Right, but it's week 1 against one of the better MAC teams, and they'll be motivated.
Yes. Yeah. So, this is – I think it'll be fun to watch this team this year. I think they will fight hard in a lot of games. They will not roll over this year.
No. But I also don't think they're going to win a lot of games. So
no, they're not. They're not.
I got them at 3-9, but that's kind of where we're sitting.
I'm at 4-8. I think they would do a little better now, but not much. They're not going bowling.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
and that brings us to the conclusion of the Big Ten. And boy, what a journey has that been. It is a big. They don't call it the big. They don't call it a big conference for no reason. So it's big, all right.
And then we have one left.
And then there was one. It is
where it just means more second place finishes.
SEC. Yeah. More snarky comments from Ed. Meanwhile, they have more teams that everybody's dialed into. It's the SEC. We're talking the SEC next. I can't wait to dive in. I've got a lot of thoughts on a lot of these teams.
I've got a lot of thoughts on these SEC.
You got some thoughts. I think we're gonna fight in the SEC preview. We're gonna have some.
We've got an advanced auto parts manager coaching one team. You'll just have to guess which one that is.
Wait. Hold on. Advanced auto parts manager. Are you talking about P. Golding?
No,
but he could also be an advanced auto parts. Who are you talking about?
Oh, Ryan Silverfield, man. That guy looks like he should be an advanced. He should be.
You're right.
He should be advanced.
Pete Golding's more of a RV salesman.
Maybe so. Oh gosh, we're gonna have some fun with the SEC.
Right.
We're gonna do that in 2 podcasts. We do not have. We think maybe Wednesday, but it may be Thursday.
Probably Wednesday. But yeah, we'll get that to you. And then we'll have our picks episode where we're going to give you our college football playoff predictions, our win totals picks, because I got some win totals bets and if you've been paying attention, you'll probably know basically based on our reactions what they are. And we'll have national championship picks. And we'll get ready for week 0, which is 2 weeks away.
A week from Saturday.
A week from Saturday is week 0.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's almost here, folks. It's almost here. Who will have the Ireland?
And then during the season, we'll be coming back with reactions
every
and
week.
Previews every week.
Reactions and previews every week. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate all of our loyal viewers. Make sure to like and subscribe and follow on all the socials. Give us all that sweet engagement because it makes the number go up, and that's always the point of life, right? All right. Thanks so much. Good night.